Are
So
they from New York?
Mr.
Both.
Locario is a New Yorker.
Okay,
Steve's based in Texas somewhere. And
because they were
the other guys
using
you
New
didn't see.
York colloquialisms. I bring up the idea of world-class pickup. You have to drop all that shit when you travel, right? When you go to Europe, you're going to have to drop the New York City colloquialisms.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
so Steve's from
that has
Washington,
to
D.C.,
drop,
but now
or
lives in
or you
Texas.
stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what'd you think about that, even though you joined at the end?
Uh, Great rants, great rants. And so what I love about rants is truth comes out, you know? Uh, they're assembled ideas and they just come out as truth. So we heard their truths, and that was cool to hear.
You would not have enjoyed the
100%.
first half of that. You would, if you saw the first half and then I invited you to join, you would have been like, nah, I'm good. I don't think I want to partake. So I kind of threw you in here, man, but I'm glad you showed up.
I was playing with the kids today. By the way, my nieces each have two kids, and we went to one of those indoor jungle gyms. I just got back. I still have my coat on. I still have my sticker on from the jungle gym, and you pulled me
Nice.
into this,
It's the
right?
advertising.
This was not pre-planned, Eyes. I literally just dropped him the
No,
link
but
and
thanks
said,
for
let's
inviting
just,
me, and
yeah.
I think there were some good thoughts that we got to cross.
You know what? Here, since you mentioned going with the kids today, let me just open up something I posted on my YouTube post a few days ago. It's about family. So just put it up here. If I just screen share this quickly. Right. Yeah, here it is. Let's not forget why you're in the game. Game without purpose and without legacy is no game at all. Even coaches in this industry think having children or getting married would be a bad thing. Don't be fooled, and certainly don't fool yourself. You choose your lifestyle, your purpose, and your legacy. And then I
That's
got a
great.
picture of me and my bebe niña, my daughter Luna.
Nice. Hey man, I'm engaged. I don't care what anybody thinks. My woman is my woman. She's my queen, and I'm so in love with my fiance.
So, what do you guys think the higher purpose of the game is? Is game about women as well?
The higher purpose of game, for me, it's always been a higher purpose thing, honestly. Like attracting women, having more options with women, hooking up, having better relationships. That was all a byproduct for me. I truly used the game as a vehicle for transformation and self-actualization. But when I strip back my little romantic lens that I put on everything, the game at its core is about how to attract women, how to get more options in your life.
I love people. I love people. Going to Austin this past week with Blaze and his fiance and friends, that was a peak experience for me. And we got to meet new people as well. It was extraordinary. I love doing these boot camps. I hate the fact that game exists, that we need to game a girl, but I love the fact that I'm pretty damn good at it. And I can teach how to get good at the game as well. The game is 12 sets in a night. You go to a public gathering and you open 12 sets, hopefully in creative and unique ways rather than the same stereotypical open on everybody. And you go meet a, a whole bunch of groups of people in one night. That's the game. To see how many numbers you can get, see how many people will come back to your after party. That's the game.
Austin, Texas was a blast. And Nashville, Tennessee is coming up in about 3 weeks. If I can plug
Mhm.
Nashville, Tennessee boot camp real quick. We've also got some live online workshops next weekend. There's one on Saturday. There's a live online the following Sunday. Anybody that comes to the live online or the boot camp as a result of seeing this, use code ICE and you'll get a few bucks off. Just throwing that out there as
I
well.
just
That's in the,
dropped that in the chat so you can click on that straight up.
yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Ablaze made me think about this more in the last few months. Because some of these previous debates, this is like the Avengers final stage of the debates because everyone debated each other at some point, and then we just threw everyone in. Um, Before it was very much science versus art, and you made your points about art. Pickup is an art. You should see it in that way. Science has the answers, or the search for the answers, and mystery experimented. That was a science, but
Mhm.
I'm realizing, especially now, you really have to be very much a humanist and see the art side of this because you're dealing with humans and theory is one thing, statistics are another thing, but face to face with another human, being humanist and seeing the art for what it is, that's where the love, the connection is truly found. For lack of better phrasing, but I'm not sure what else to say with that. But what
I'm
I
going to
get
say
from you
this.
and mystery is the wholesomeness of understanding its human connection.
Well, that's how I like to do it. I like to pay attention to the science and then I like to pay attention to the art and I swirl it together in a way that feels right for me and in a way that gets results. But the guys that want to take a more structured scientific approach, that want to live inside the box, I'm not here to hate on that. And there are women that will be drawn to that. Contrary to what we've been told, there are some women that are drawn to the science guy that's, that he only thinks inside the box. And then the guys that want to go to the moon on the artistic side of it, so to speak, that want to make this a big avant-garde work of art, that's okay too. I've found the best results and the most satisfaction somewhere in the middle of the science and the art. And the human side is that it's both. We're both, scientific machines, we're biological machines, but we're creative machines. There's something more to us than just mechanics.
Connection. Connection is in the center of the M3 model. That is the objective of C2 is connection. C1 is trust, C2 is connection, C3 is intimacy. So the three phases of comfort in the center, mid-game, the center of this model is connection. The whole point is to connect with someone, but we got to handle all the logistics of our friends being there so that we have a chance to be able to, in isolation, sit with her on a couch, one-on-one, and feel connection with her and have her feel that too. Bonding, the human shared experience. And I think that it takes time. It takes time for two people to get to know each other. And the time isn't up to us, it's up to her. That's what I think. Connection takes time, and it takes as long as it takes, as long as she needs to feel that, until she wants to share experiences with you outside of the club that you've met in.
What do you think about so Ablaze is basically being a proponent of the 7 hour rule, and some of the guys from before, Marcus is the exception here. He's more closer to your side. Um, these guys are basically screeners, so they screen if she's, as you would
Yeah,
say, DTF.
I gathered that. They're screening and therefore they're breaking some eggs. Solid game is about breaking no eggs. Solid game is being dynamic enough for various sets around the world. This is world-class pickup after all. So it's different in different cities. I know what these gentlemen are dealing with in New York City. I've been there dozens upon dozens of times. I've done boot camp there, so I get it. I really do. I appreciate what they're, the type of interactions they're dealing with on a typical day in New York City are different than Helsinki, Finland, Europe, right? Uh, People behave differently in different cities. So what I've done is I've gamed in all of them. I've traveled the world. I've literally traveled around the world. So I know it's round. I know it's a sphere. That said, I have the experience of having gone to all these various cities, and I've calibrated my game so that I can represent the country I come from in any city that I go to, right? I'm not going to be derogatory rather, to women in another country. I'm going to treat them with respect and dignity wherever I go, whether they've earned that or not, right? I can always cut my interaction short by saying goodbye forever, right? If I want. Uh, yeah, those are some of my thoughts on that subject.
Do you think the with the whole screening thing, do you think that really boils down to a certain type of woman?
I think it's a combination of a type of woman and the guy's game, right? If the woman is open to fast escalation, but the guy's game isn't tight, it's not going to work. And if the guy's game is tight, but the woman's not open to fast escalation, it's not going to work. So it's a combination. What I've argued all the time from the get-go from these debates is there's a burn rate both ways. If you slow things down too much, you may miss out on a girl that wanted to hook up quicker. There's certainly been times where I was sitting there chatting with a girl and some dude came in all aggressively and swept her away in a fury of fun. And I went, ah, shit. She was down, and here I was slowing it down, playing solid game, right?
Over gaming.
There's
Really what
over
the
gaming. There's a burn rate either way, but the question is which side has a bigger burn rate? And from my experience, the experience of Mystery and many other guys I know, and according to the science, when you try to escalate too quickly, when you just screen the girl for sexuality, you're going to have a higher burn rate. You're going to offend some women. You're going to get rejected quite a bit. So I'm a proponent of solid game. And then when the fast escalation opportunities come your way, indulge in them if you want to. We're all adults, but don't make it the norm.
Yeah, the norm is somewhere between 4 and 10 hours. It's a big stretch. It's normal to go, from meeting her to beginning a sexual relationship. It's normal to go 4 hours. It's normal to go 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. You're accumulating by the minute like a lawyer would, you know? You may have a day two, you may have a day three with a woman. You may go on dates. I don't recommend dates, but you may go on dates, getting to know each other until there's a time and place to be intimate,
Just to
right?
clarify for the guys watching this, there's a social circle game element to this. So it's not like you're necessarily going meeting a woman for 2 hours and then you're spending 5 hours alone with her, but perhaps you're going to a second night of night game, a venue, and you invited several people there. And then effectively you're collecting minutes on multiple people
Mhm.
that you're dealing with, not spending uh, on one person all these hours and then all these hours on a second person, for example. It all
You
combines.
know, I recommend, and a student of mine did this in Bali. I recommend a guy invite 3 girls he's met over the last week to visit him on one night, and they all meet together. And he thought, because he was leaving the next day, he thought that this would be a destroying of 3 relationships. But I said, counterintuitively, you're going to have a fun night out with the friends that you've met. And he did. And he had a blast. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, the mystery method, or the M3 model, pardon me, is um, it's more closely related to social circle game than it is to direct fast escalation game. It's technically cold approach pickup, but it more closely resembles social circle than it does these, shit or get off the pot. I kept saying to these guys on the debate, super fast direct game.
they're doing super fast direct game, and and that's one way of going about it. There's, and I can respect the idea of manning up and showing sexual interest, you know, uh, by comparison to those who do not ever get to it. But, it's been shown by the sets that I've done and the sets that my friends have done that it does take some time to demonstrate your value so they feel that you're attractive to them. It takes time, more than 3 minutes, of just soliciting. I don't solicit. I don't solicit a woman. I structure the opportunity for her to pursue me multiple times throughout my pickup. And ha ha ha, they fall for it. The girls actually pursue me because I do little takeaways. Things like, let's agree to disagree, like Neil Strauss would do. And 10 minutes later, he'd be making out with the chick. Crazy.
So it's far less linear. Another way of me thinking about this. Whereas direct gamers, it's very linear. It's they take their shot. With you, it's like you're weaving all of these groups, and then some of them follow you to wherever you're going because they already met you. So you're making impressions and gaining dividends on that, I guess you could say.
It's one way of saying it. Those are
I got my
those are
weird
very
analogies.
those are accounting words, but okay, fair enough.
Too
Fair
much
enough.
into that.
I feel like there's no more debate. I've actually scuttled the ship by appearing. Didn't I? Did
No,
I
well, we'd
No,
be
I'll
going
tell you
on for
what,
de-escalate
three
the
hours.
that
situation
debate,
somehow?
that debate went from everybody interrupting everybody to the point where I think 80% or 90% of the time, I let Marcus and Locario just duke it out. And I just sat back and because Marcus, even though I disagree with him and I've debated him on this particular topic, the things that we got into, I was agreeing with what he was saying. So I just sit back and let him debate Locario. And when you came in, everybody kind of shut the fuck up and went, "Oh my gosh, Mystery's here." Did you notice that? The oxygen got sucked out of the room, and Mystery was able to calm everybody down
They
with
could
his
hear
presence.
boss music. Why do I hear boss music? What the fuck? Mystery has entered the arena. They could see, whoa, what happened to lights and all that stuff. Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna
Well,
say, but
we're
yeah, go
gaming
ahead.
in the same venues. I know the venues that they're gaming in, so I can appreciate the particular aiming at a certain select type of woman, right? And where there are no scarce resources in New York City, if you can get into the rooftop patio bars, you'll feel like there's no end to it, to beauty. Uh, I can see getting an attitude, gaining an attitude over this whole game, you know, but there we're doing it for love. When it's all said and done, we're doing it for love. Why are we doing it? We're doing it for love. The game is a love game. You got to remember that. And as men, we do not have to step on each other's toes. Every time I open up a group of girls, there's a couple girls going spare. I need cool guys to throw onto the girls so I can isolate my target and they can be happy too meeting girls, right? It's happened more than once that my wingman and I would meet a two set and we'd end up splitting the two set and he'd get one girl, I'd get the other girl, and they were the best of friends. I've enjoyed that scenario on more than one occasion. That was really sweet, you know. I'm doing it for love.
We learned from a lot of the game global content these days, and from Blaze and you guys. And Baxter, especially, there's no one way to do game. Baxter, for example, he has taken so many teachings from different people and just created a ball of chaotic styles and is able to use all these tools in many directions. This is why we're game global. It's so we can see these perspectives. It's not as if this person doesn't get laid. This person doesn't get laid because this method is not being followed. But there are so many different ways of doing game. And as me and Ablaze have talked about before many times, we have to find whatever works for us, fits our personality and our lifestyle, because that's where the game truly lives. You, Mystery loves magic. He's going to introduce magic to it. So that's part of your pickup.
Does that make me gay?
It's like
Magic can
music.
be gay, but I don't know.
I like the music analogy. My mother was a music teacher. I was raised listening to all different types of music. I've played several different instruments throughout my life. You know, you learn the music theory, create the music that you like. If nobody likes your music, nobody wants to hear your music, and you want to be a rock star, you're going to have to sacrifice maybe and change up what you're playing. But if you like your music, most likely somebody's going to like it. You don't have to become the ultimate pickup artist. You know, if you learn this game and you attract the girl that you want to be with, more power to you. That's the way I see it. Who's to tell you that
Switching on
your
over.
music is no good? Who's to tell you that you should change up your style?
And I guess you're talking specifically about one's cheat sheet stack.
Cheat
You
sheets. Well, even that, even look, some guys want to use material, some guys don't want to use material. You know that I come from the school of thought of develop some material, even if you want to freestyle, even if you want to be a freestyler, it's going to be very good for your brain to develop material. Uh, You'll become a more creative, you'll become more spontaneous by doing that. So I believe in structure, I believe in material, I believe in cheat sheets, I believe in all of it. And to the guys that just want to learn the high level principles and don't want to get into the nuance, that's okay too. Let it run as a browser window open in the background. Let it just mildly color your experience. That's okay too. But if you want to get good at this game, or if you really need to improve, you're at rock bottom, you're going to want to learn structure, you're going to want to learn material. The M3 model is what I believe I was raised right. When I got into this game in my early 20s, Mystery was in his heyday of the pickup artist show being featured in the game. I learned structure before I learned to freestyle. And then I went through a phase of doing natural game where I just wanted to say and do whatever and act spontaneously. But I came full circle back to structure. So much so that I've created my own structure as well. Lots of influence from the M3 model. If you guys like Mystery's M3 model, my model is heavily influenced by Mystery. Besides my parents and the women that I've had in my life, Mystery is my number one sensei, hands down.
cheers
Perfect.
to that, brother. Thank you.